I found the invitation on his printer. You're invited. Trevor's Freedom Party, celebrating new beginnings. The date was 3 weeks away. We were still married. Trevor walked into his home office while I held the paper. He didn't flinch. He said his lawyer told him to celebrate milestones. He said I wouldn't understand because I never supported his happiness. He took the invitation from my hands and told me to get out of his office. I left without saying a word. That's when I knew he was lying about everything. We'd been married for 8 years. Trevor Schaefer, senior account manager at a pharmaceutical company, marathon runner, craft beer enthusiast. Everyone called him charming. I called him my husband until 6 months ago when he said he needed space. He moved his clothes out over a weekend while I visited my sister in Portland. When I came home, half the closet was empty. He texted me that evening. I got an apartment downtown. We need time apart to figure things out. I asked if there was someone else. He said I was paranoid. He said therapy had taught him about boundaries. I didn't know he'd never been to therapy. The first month, Trevor came by every Wednesday to check on the house. He'd kiss my forehead and ask about my day. He'd mention marriage counseling like it was still an option. Then he'd leave before dinner. My best friend Vanessa said separation was normal. She said lots of couples need space. She said Trevor just needed time to remember what he had. I wanted to believe her, but something felt calculated about the way he scheduled his visits, the way he never stayed long enough for real conversation, the way he'd check his phone every few minutes like he was expected somewhere else. That wasn't the worst part. 2 months into our separation, Trevor started posting photos on Instagram. Him at a new restaurant, him at a concert, him hiking trails we used to talk about exploring together. But he was always alone in the photos. The captions were vague, good times or living my best life. No tagged locations, no other people visible. It felt intentional, like he was documenting a single man's journey while keeping the details blurred. I scrolled through his feed at night, wondering who was taking the pictures. Then I found the apartment lease. I wasn't snooping. Trevor had asked me to mail him some tax documents, and he'd left his filing cabinet unlocked during one of his Wednesday visits. The lease was in a folder labeled Personal. 2-bedroom apartment, rent $2,400 per month, lease term 12 months, started 4 months before he told me he needed space. Signed by Trevor Schaefer and Jenna Vaughn. I photographed every page. I didn't confront him, not yet. That's when I realized he hadn't just left. He'd built an entire second life before walking out the door. I created the fake Instagram account that night. Username @livelaughhike23. Generic profile photo I pulled from a stock image site, a woman in her 30s laughing on a mountain trail. Bio, adventure seeker, coffee addict, new to the city and looking for hiking buddies. I followed 200 random accounts to make it look real. Food bloggers, fitness influencers, local coffee shops. Then I searched for Jenna Vaughn. I found her in under 3 minutes. She had 1,847 followers. Her bio said, marketing consultant, dog mom to biscuit, grateful for second chances. Her most recent post was a sunset photo with the caption, starting fresh with someone who sees my worth, posted 6 days ago. The location tag said Riverside Park, the same park where Trevor proposed to me in 2016. I followed her. She followed me back within an hour. I waited 2 days before sending a direct message. Hi, I saw you post about hiking trails around here. I just moved to the area and I'm looking for recommendations. Do you have any favorites? She responded in 20 minutes. OMG, yes, there's an amazing trail at Cascade Falls, not too crowded on weekdays. Are you into morning hikes or afternoon? We messaged back and forth for 15 minutes. She was friendly, enthusiastic. She had no idea who I was. I told her my name was Rachel. She invited me to join her hiking group. I said I'd love to. Over the next 3 weeks, Jenna and I became online friends. We'd message about weekend plans, share coffee shop recommendations, complain about work deadlines. She mentioned her boyfriend once. He's been so supportive during my career transition. I feel like I finally found someone who gets me. I asked how long they'd been together. She said almost a year. She said he was recently divorced. She said his ex-wife had been controlling and emotionally manipulative, but he was healing now. I stared at my phone for 5 minutes before responding. That sounds really hard. I'm glad you have you. She sent a heart emoji. I wanted to scream. That's when I saw the invitation on Trevor's printer. Freedom Party, celebrating new beginnings.
I took a photo of it before he snatched it from my hands. After he kicked me out of his office, I sat in my car and opened Instagram. I sent Jenna a message. Hey, random question, but does your boyfriend happen to be throwing any parties soon? My friend mentioned something about a divorce celebration, and it made me think of you. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, OMG, yes! How did you know? Trevor's throwing a party to celebrate closing that chapter of his life. It's been such a journey for him. My hands shook. I typed carefully. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you guys. When is it? She sent me the date. Same date as the invitation. She said, you should come. Trevor said I could invite friends. It would be fun to finally meet in person. I didn't respond right away. I needed to think. Trevor was throwing a party to celebrate divorcing me, but we weren't divorced. We weren't even legally separated. I'd never signed papers. I'd never been served. I'd checked with a lawyer 2 weeks ago just to confirm, and she'd told me clearly we were still legally married. Trevor was living with another woman, telling her he was divorced, planning a party to celebrate a divorce that didn't exist, and now that woman was inviting me to the party. I sat in that car for an hour building a plan. Over the next 2 weeks, I became Rachel completely. I messaged Jenna about party outfit ideas. I asked if I should bring anything. She said, just bring good energy and maybe a bottle of wine. She was so excited. She kept saying how this party represented Trevor's fresh start. She said he'd been through hell with his ex-wife. She said the woman had refused to let go gracefully, had made the divorce as difficult as possible, had tried to take everything from him. She said Trevor was finally free to be happy. Every message she sent made my jaw tighter, but I kept playing Rachel. Sweet, supportive, clueless Rachel. 3 days before the party, I did something risky. I asked Jenna, can I ask you something personal? How did you know Trevor was the one? She responded immediately, a long message. She said she knew because he was honest, because he communicated, because he didn't play games like her ex-boyfriend used to. She said Trevor had been upfront about his baggage from his marriage. She said he'd told her everything about his controlling ex-wife. She said transparency was the foundation of their relationship. I read it 3 times. Then I typed, that's beautiful. Honesty is so important. She agreed. She said she'd never been with someone so open before. I thought about the lease he'd signed 4 months before leaving me. I thought about the apartment I didn't know existed. I thought about the Wednesday visits where he'd kiss my forehead and talk about marriage counseling. I saved every message. The day before the party, Trevor texted me. First time in 2 weeks. I need you to sign the separation agreement. My lawyer is sending it over. This has gone on long enough. I didn't respond. He texted again an hour later. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. We both know this marriage is over. I still didn't respond. That night, Jenna messaged me. So excited for tomorrow. Trevor's been setting up decorations all evening. He's really going all out. I can't wait for you to meet him. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed, I can't wait either. The party was at their apartment, the same 2-bedroom apartment from the lease. When I arrived at 7 p.m., there were already 20 people there. I recognized some of them, Trevor's coworkers, his running club friends, his college roommate, David. None of them recognized me. I'd changed my hair, wore glasses I didn't need, dressed completely different from how I looked in photos Trevor had posted of us. I was Rachel. I blended in. Jenna spotted me immediately. She was exactly like her photos. Blonde hair, bright smile, genuine warmth. She hugged me like we were old friends. Rachel, you made it. Come meet everyone. She introduced me to 3 people whose names I forgot immediately. Then she pulled me toward the kitchen. Trevor's in here. You have to meet him. Trevor was opening a bottle of champagne. He wore the navy shirt I'd bought him for his birthday 2 years ago. He looked happy, relaxed. He didn't see me at first. Jenna touched his arm. Babe, this is Rachel, the friend I told you about from my hiking group. He turned around. Our eyes met. I watched his face change. Recognition, confusion, panic. He dropped the champagne bottle. It shattered on the kitchen tile. Glass and foam everywhere. Everyone went quiet. Jenna jumped back. Oh my God, are you okay? Trevor stared at me. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. I smiled. I said, Hi, Trevor. It's been a while. Jenna looked between us. Wait, do you two know each other? I nodded. We do. I'm his wife. The kitchen stayed silent for exactly 4 seconds. Then everyone started talking at once. Jenna stepped backward. What? No, he's divorced. The divorce is final. That's why we're having this party. I pulled out my phone. I showed her the email from my lawyer, dated 3 days ago. Legal marital status? Married to Trevor James Schaefer. No divorce proceedings filed. No separation agreement signed. Jenna read it. Her hand covered her mouth. She looked at Trevor. Is this true? Trevor tried to recover. Jenna, let me explain. This is my ex-wife. She's unstable. She's been stalking me. She created a fake account to get close to you. I pulled out my other phone, my real phone. I opened the text messages. I handed it to Jenna. These are his messages to me from this week, asking me to sign separation papers that don't exist yet, telling me our marriage is over while living here with you. Jenna scrolled through the messages. Her face went pale. Trevor reached for her. Babe, please, let me explain this privately. She pulled away from him. You told me you were divorced 6 months ago. You told me your ex-wife was crazy. You told me she made your life hell during the divorce. Her voice cracked. You told me the papers were final in March. I stayed quiet. I let her process. Trevor started talking faster. I was going to tell you, the divorce was delayed because she's been difficult. I simplified it because I didn't want to burden you with the details. Jenna shook her head. You didn't simplify anything. You lied. You lied about being legally free. You lied about this party. You lied about everything. She turned to me. How long have you known? I told her the truth. I found the lease 2 months ago. I found you 3 weeks ago. I became Rachel because I needed to understand who he was lying to more, me or you. Jenna sat down on the kitchen counter. Glass crunched under her shoes. So none of our friendship was real? I shook my head. The friendship wasn't real, but everything I told you about him is real. He did leave without explanation. He did sign a lease while we were still living together. He did build a life with you while pretending to save our marriage. Trevor's face turned red. Get out. Both of you are insane. This is my party, my apartment. Jenna stood up. Our apartment. My name is on the lease too, and I want to hear what she has to say. She looked at me. What else did he tell you? I pulled up the screenshots, the Wednesday visit texts, the marriage counseling mentions, the checking on the house excuses. I showed her everything. Trevor tried to leave the kitchen. David, his college roommate, blocked the doorway. Dude, what the hell? Trevor pushed past him. The living room had gone completely silent. Everyone was watching. Jenna followed him. I followed her. Trevor grabbed his car keys from the table. I don't have to listen to this. You're both crazy. Jenna's voice was ice. Did you ever file for divorce? Trevor didn't answer. Did you ever file for divorce? He stared at the floor. It was complicated. Yes or no? No. The word hung in the air. Jenna laughed. It was a terrible sound. So we've been living together for almost a year? I've been telling my family I'm dating a divorced man. I've been building a future with you, and you're still married. She turned to me. Does he pay for anything at your house? Mortgage? Utilities? I shook my head. I've been paying everything since he left. He said it was temporary until the divorce was settled. That's when Jenna understood. He's been keeping both lives running, telling you he needs space to work things out, telling me he's divorced and starting fresh, never committing to either of us completely. She looked at Trevor with something like fascination. You're not even good at this. You're just betting that we'd never talk to each other. Trevor's voice got defensive. I was going to handle it. I was going to file the papers. I just needed more time to figure out the finances. Jenna walked to the sound system and turned off the music. The apartment was dead quiet except for the murmur of confused guests. She announced loudly, "Everyone, thank you for coming to Trevor's divorce party. As you've just learned, Trevor is still legally married. This party is celebrating a divorce that never happened. Please help yourselves to food and drinks on your way out." People started gathering their coats. Someone laughed nervously. David shook his head and walked out without saying goodbye. Within 5 minutes, the apartment was empty except for me, Jenna, and Trevor. Trevor sat on the couch. This is unbelievable. You two are ruining my life. Jenna sat across from him. Her voice was terrifyingly calm. No, we're comparing notes, and here's what I'm learning. You moved into this apartment while still married. You told me you were divorced. You told her you needed space to think. You've been paying rent here, but not contributing to the house you still legally own. You've been celebrating a divorce that doesn't exist. So let me ask you something, Trevor. When exactly were you planning to actually file? He didn't have an answer. I sat down next to Jenna. Strange moment. Two women who should hate each other sitting together in the ruins of the same man's lies. Jenna turned to me. I'm sorry, I had no idea he was still married. If I'd known, I cut her off. I believe you. He's good at compartmentalizing. She nodded slowly. What are you going to do? I'd already decided. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. Real divorce, with a real lawyer, and I'm going after everything he owes me. 8 months of mortgage payments, utilities, the car insurance he stopped paying, all of it. Jenna looked at Trevor. And I'm done. We're done. You need to move out. Trevor's head snapped up. You can't kick me out. I'm on the lease. Jenna smiled. So am I. And I have texts from you admitting you lied about your marital status. I'm pretty sure I can make a case for lease violation. But honestly, I don't care about the legal details right now. I just want you gone. She stood up and walked to the bedroom. She came back with a suitcase and threw it at his feet. You can stay with one of those friends who just walked out, or maybe go back to your wife's house. Oh wait, you can't because you abandoned it. I had to admit, I liked her. Trevor picked up the suitcase. You're both going to regret this. Jenna laughed. I regret plenty already, but this is the first thing I've done right in months. He looked at me. You planned this. You catfished my girlfriend just to humiliate me. I shook my head. I didn't catfish her. I befriended her to find out the truth. You humiliated yourself by lying to everyone in your life. I just made sure we could compare stories. Trevor left. He slammed the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames. Jenna and I sat in silence for a minute. Then she said, I have wine. Do you drink wine? I nodded. I could use a glass. She brought out 2 bottles. We sat on her couch, the couch Trevor bought with money he should have been using for our mortgage, and we talked. Not about him, about us. She told me about her previous relationship, about her marketing career, about how she thought she'd found someone stable and honest. I told her about the 8 years I'd spent building a marriage with someone who was already planning his exit. She asked me if I loved him. I said I used to. She asked if I hated him now. I said I didn't have enough energy left to hate him. We finished both bottles of wine. At midnight, Jenna asked me something I hadn't expected. Do you think he ever loved either of us, or were we just convenient? I thought about it. I think he loved the idea of us. He loved having options. He loved keeping doors open in case one didn't work out. She nodded. He's a coward. Yes. And we're not? No, we're not. She raised her empty glass. To comparing notes. I raised mine, and to closing doors. I filed for divorce the next morning. Trevor contested it at first. Then my lawyer sent him a detailed breakdown of everything he owed. $14,400 in mortgage payments, $2,800 in utilities, $1,600 in car insurance, plus half the value of the house. He signed the agreement 3 weeks later. The divorce was final in 4 months. I kept the house. He paid me $47,000 in total settlements. I didn't ask for alimony. I just wanted out. Jenna texted me 2 months after the party. He's seeing someone new, met her at his running club, told her he's been single for over a year. I wasn't surprised. Did you warn her? I thought about it, but honestly, I'm tired. Let him implode on his own. I understood that. Some people don't learn. They just find new people to lie to. I heard Trevor moved to a different city 6 months later. Fresh start, clean slate, no history following him. Except now there were 2 women who knew exactly who he was. And we stayed in touch. Not best friends, but something better. Witnesses. Allies. People ask me if I regret the fake Instagram account, if it was too much, if I should have just hired a private investigator or confronted him directly. I tell them the same thing every time. I didn't set out to destroy him. I set out to find the truth. And sometimes the truth destroys people all on its own. Trevor built a house of lies. I just opened the door and let both of us see inside. There's nothing cruel about that. That's just gravity. I didn't get revenge, I got clarity, and I got my name off a marriage license that should have been dissolved the moment he signed a lease with someone else.
You've just stepped into her revenge side, where every wound finds its justice, and every silence ends with truth. If her story struck a chord, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive. Another secret waits in the next video. See how her revenge begins.